Hello, everyone. This is Tony, CEO of SHOPPE BLACK. Today, I'm joined by Marcia Smith, the 90s kid extraordinaire and the founder of HGC Apparel, one of the most successful Black-owned clothing brands in the game. How are you doing today, Marcia?
My God, I'm amazing. Thank you for my introduction. How are you doing, Tony? Thank you for having me.
I'm great. I'm great. Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for being here. So yeah, just want to get into things here. So tell us about the brand. How would you describe HGC Apparel and what inspired you to create the brand?
Well, HGC Apparel, HGC standing for Hot Greeks Couture, stemming from my Greek roots, a member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. I wanted to have something that really talked or dealt with the nostalgia of our people, dealt with self-identity, self-worth, and just upliftment. So I wanted to have this brand. I created it around 2009 or so, right outside of Howard, graduating from Howard in 2008.
Me
So
too.
I wanted to have something that was very reminiscent of the culture, the vibe or how it was. Even at the school, no matter what the year, they always have a very much of a nostalgia at Howard that I wanted everybody to experience in a plethora of ways, being it from my designs, different things that I wanted to create, different phrasings and things. I wanted us to just have a nice sense of self-worth, self-identity, or just in addressing problems that are happening in our community as well. So
Sure. No, that's great. That's great. So like what is it about the 90s though? Like all the movies were dope, the music was the best. Like what is it about that period that's just so dope? And like what is it about that period that inspires you specifically?
me specifically, we're all kind of on the same ages. Just growing up, you just always wanted to just revert back to certain things that felt good to you, or just brought you a sense of peace, or just brought you some joy at those times. So I really much stay in that '90s because I grew up during that time. Very much New Jack Swing, New Jack City. I only know just baggy, just the whole baggy look, and
Yeah.
the jerseys and different things like that. Just keeping it real baggy, real different, real street, real city. I just know that. So since I do that so well, I've always portrayed that. Even this, like that's maybe not necessarily the face, but this is all normal. The nails, the very vibe of just '90s nostalgia. That's always been very dear to me. So I wanted to make sure that exuded in the brand in a
Yeah.
plethora of ways, like color blocking, very crazy patterns. Just always wanted to,
Mm.
bring that '90s out. It's a vibes, as you can see.
It is
So
a
it's
vibe.
something
No.
that's natural to me, so it's easy to portray.
And it looks great. It looks great. So you were in the military for 8 years, right? And so how do you say that experience influenced your entrepreneurial journey, or you as an entrepreneur?
Um, I would say it definitely influenced it in a number of ways just to try to maintain business while in the military. I know that I'm a serial 9 to 5er, worker, entrepreneur, made that jump, whatever you want to call it. But I definitely know how to balance 9 to 5 and entrepreneurship for a really long time. So I was in for 7 years, and I know that for all that time I had to run the business while in the military. So at different
Mhm.
countries, different places, so it was very much influential where I had to always really much be in social media heavy, like knowing what's going on with say Breakfast Club type of things, or
Yeah.
social news of actual political news as well. But really, keeping your hand on the footprint or on the heartbeat of the community in
Mhm.
so many different countries. So I've been running this from so many different countries and still maintaining your blackness, which I feel like is not necessarily difficult, but I would say it's hard because you really got to be more in social media than you want to. But
Right.
it definitely, that's how it helped me to, I guess, mesh and be in this language so effortlessly. But that was
Mhm.
also that, I guess, that pain point that then turned into your guru lifestyle. So I would definitely say it was a process, but it molded it in a way to really make me embed, I guess, into social media and to where you see it at today.
Mm. So you learned basically how to run a business 100% online for many years because you were forced to operating from like different countries.
Yeah.
So you got that, you like perfected that. Now it seems like due to COVID, there are lots of businesses who are like they're brick and mortar and they're trying to like transition to becoming an online business, or there are businesses that are already online, but they're trying to figure out, okay, how do I turn up what I'm doing right now and like, thrive as an online business, right? What would
Mhm.
you say um, helped you, I guess, um, the best way to find success online? Like what helped you find success as an e-commerce entrepreneur?
Well, I guess being that I've been doing this so many years just in this own way, just really making sure you do it and knowing all the ins and outs of it, really becoming like an expert in that craft or in that field has really, really helped me since I've been doing it the whole time like this. So I've already been working on different mechanisms and ways to where you don't have to have a lot of people right there on top of you doing work. You know, a lot of remote working that people are now doing.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for so long. So I've been having people working remotely for a number of years or having different, you don't have to have all the mechanisms right in one place is where people are struggling at right now because everybody was on top of each other. You know, all the businesses, your employees are there, everybody's in the same room and stuff shut down and didn't know how to operate. Like you don't know how to I've been managing people from a distance for a while now, so it's very easy for them. You know, everybody's acclimated, so you started excelling while everybody else was kind of scrambling right now. So even for that I feel like helped me do this, but I wouldn't necessarily say there is any way to plan for it or that I thrive in any one area. I guess I always chose this to be my area of expertise, and then it just kind of came out to now you're just shining. So I don't even have like a tip to. I don't even like tips for even a brick and mortar to even move to e-commerce because it should have already been a mesh, I would say. But there are more e-commerce businesses now for them to thrive more, really like digging into systems. Like I know that Connie's gonna love this when she hears about it, but Connie works on my systems for me. She implemented some systems and processes for me really just recently. So even saying like, don't even think you gotta implement systems at the beginning. It's very good to do it at the beginning, but it is costly when you wait like how I'm doing and just trying to get certain things in order now because you have some stuff, but it's really time to tighten up a lot of things. So systems are really, really going to help a lot of businesses right now, trying to make sure you get everybody on the same accord. Everybody's moving in your same vision right now. It's not time for any other, like every business, whatever y'all are missions and goals, really being on those right now because you see everybody's watching.
Everybody is watching.
They are scrutinizing you at this moment. So just making sure y'all are coming together, sewing up all them loose things, getting back on your customer service, getting back. That brick and mortar is not existing anymore. So I've always been heavy in customer service, always been making sure that I'm here for the people. So that personality, that personal nature is what's going to drive you right now. So if your product sucks, if you were a good person, you about to get through right now. So better go, pass out some food, do whatever you was doing to make your products keep flying. But it's not really about having an awesome product right now that's gonna carry you. No, like even myself, no, I'm out here having to push it. Or even I sell something and they'll buy that one thing and I have another disparity somewhere else. So it's very much getting on your strategies, getting on your systems, and just really buttoning these things up during COVID. Like even at the smallest levels, if you weren't writing your things down, if you didn't have an accountant, just little stuff, even if that's not doing the content, get it together now. That's the best piece of advice I could give is just not even working on content, just get your stuff sold up right now. Big businesses, they're scrambling, they're looking at the little businesses to help them because they're still not trying to do the work. So imagine like a fat guy coming out, you gonna work me out? They're not about to work out. Like they're coming over very much wanting you to do the work. So get your stuff together so we can get these bags from these bigger businesses and we can start shining and we can start doing what we need to do to make them look whatever way they need to be looking and get that shine that you can get in the process. So
which of the systems have you noticed is like the most useful or helpful for you right now?
I guess I would say the hiring and firing process. That's the most helpful. Only I would say that, not because you want to fire people, but you really it's been helpful for me to outline what the parameters are, what the goals are, the mission, the purpose of what I'm doing. Just really having people, when they can see that and when they see it tangibly, it's just a different effect, especially with our people. It's a different effect when they can see it. It's like, okay, look, this is what I'm doing now. This is how you're gonna get fired if you don't follow these rules here. And they, people need to know their parameters, their boundaries. They need to know what's the no spots, what's the pain point, what I can and cannot do. So having that system finally in place just shows that you're serious about what you're doing. That this is a game in here, and that I care about the progression, the advancement, and the upliftment of Black people, Black fashion, and things that, since we're only doing Black stuff, I got to make sure that we have the highest of standards, especially with hiring and how we carry ourselves, because we talk about Black stuff 24/7. We're not assimilating to anything, so we got to make sure we're on our stuff, or at any moment, they can come crashing down on us. So I feel like just having the systems in place and having those parameters in place so people can know a mission and want to follow it is very, very helpful.
Right. So these days, what we're seeing, especially I guess on Instagram, is you might have a design, and next thing you know, you're looking at another page that has that same exact design or something
Don't
similar,
start with me.
and you're like, hold on a second, someone jacking my work over here. What's happening?
Oh no, he knows me all too well. I mean, that definitely happens.
So how do you deal with that then? Like, what is the way to manage that, to approach that, to nip that in the bud before it even gets out of control?
Well, for me, I know that it's been happening. It happened to me. I know people are like, here she go, but it was happening to me a long time ago. So I
Mhm.
was one of the first people I feel like getting attacked. And this was probably about 6 or 7 years ago. And I
Mhm.
started seeing these little knockoffs start trickling out and going out into various places. And it's difficult when it's just happening, especially to a black business. It's like they don't steal from you, or even it's just, oh, that's supposed to happen, or why, like it can't pop. Why would they steal black by popular demand? Now it's not a thing that
Mhm.
black people, because it wasn't. I even
Right.
for me, like I have trademarks and things that we know I hold dear, and I've been trademarking things, not even thinking. I was just okay, well, because eventually I want to license these things out. I was thinking of to have it to other people to potentially use it in the future, not thinking I got to do this to ward off attackers or people are really gonna. It was gonna get to this level. I did not ever think that people, yes, they steal blackness, but not this, not those designs I was doing, not the
Mhm.
colorful. Never would have thought it. So even now, we need to get back to the basis of just telling people like when they're whack and when they're lame and when things suck and when stuff is not good. Like people
Yeah.
kind of, it's like, yeah, litigations and this and this and that. How about we just tell you whack? Why are you put that on? Like, why did you make a knockoff of my item? But hey, come here, everybody, all right, people, this is whack. Don't
Mhm.
buy this because this person's stealing. And we need to
Yeah.
say that. And we don't call people out like we used to. We're just very used to getting beat up and and just throwing ourselves away all the time. And like, no, like this stuff is of quality. This stuff is of standards. We need to act like we have standards. We need to act like we have quality amongst each other, even in our policing of our own community. We can't tell somebody else they making fake items. Oh, it's not my business. Call them out. We are consumers. We're all consumers.
Mhm.
And it used to be like that when social media first started. Go ahead and put a knockoff on something like around 2010. You were gonna get iced online. They were gonna run you out of there with the pitchforks. Now they don't really cares. Like it
Wow.
used to be, you could make items, you didn't have to really trademark nothing really, because if somebody else saw it, they were gonna tell. And they were gonna
Mhm.
tag people, everybody was gonna come flame. You would have to delete your post. Like it was like Twitter, like, oh no, no, no. Now nobody cares. They kind of talking about it, but to combat it, very much call it out. Call it out. You can report it all day. Yes, we have trademarks and things, but we don't know unless you see something, you say something, and when you call it out in front of everybody and let people know it's not acceptable, it stops. I started doing it years ago, and I really much don't have that much more Instagram knockoffs like I used to. It's definitely on websites and stuff now, but not in my footprint. I get it out of my footprint. It's not gonna be where at least you better do it over there where I can't see it at. And even if I do see it over there, I'm coming for you. But it's not gonna be in the direct line of fire because we still getting some of them that are in Amazon and other things like that. But
Oh wow.
keep coming. It's no statute of limitations on that
Right.
bag. So,
So I guess in wrapping up, because you mentioned licensing, so that kind of leads me to my next question about like your future goals and aspirations for the brand. Like, where do you see it? 5, 10 years from now? What do you want? What do you want to?
oof, 5 to 10 years from now, I would say about 5 years from now, I definitely see myself potentially. I don't know if it's more brick and mortar or more like pop up brick and mortar type of situations.
Mhm.
I have a set of logistics and things I'm going to start trying to run over the summer. So I definitely see moving into the next 5 years having more of a direct to consumer relationship where I'm going to try to implement some stuff through a larger brand that you guys are going to see coming up here even this year. But I see that relationship cultivating here
Yeah.
very, very, very much so. So y'all going to see me actually rolling out to like maybe like a fleet of vehicles,
Mm.
that I
Okay.
see
Okay.
coming in the
Okay.
next 5 years. Like trying to make sure we get boots on ground to the people,
Yep.
because I've
Yep.
always
Yep.
had this mindset. So I've never really been brick and mortar, but always kind of have like little mini brick and mortars running to the people. So y'all gonna probably see
Mm.
that coming here soon. So I want to have that in the next 5 years. I'm having major partnerships. That's already happening. I was gonna say I see myself in retail stores. That's coming in this year. So
Is there that or no? That's still?
oh, that's a definite thing. We're going in retail stores and major chains here very shortly in the next couple of months. But I see that relationship lasting pretty long because they've never had a Black company in this store before, y'all. So I see this being beneficial. I know I'm gonna make it beneficial. I'm gonna make it last. But as long as we can. So, you know, it's kind of like Keenan on Saturday Night Live. Like we got one of them type of actions going on. Like, you done brought the Black girl in. I'm about to try to take it. We gonna see what happens. But the next 5 years, I definitely see I want to have like a fleet of things going on. If I would love to do more pop-up shop where I might be in Charlotte for 3 or 4 months. You might be in Atlanta for 4 or 5, 6 months. I want to do things like that to where I'm just seeing if I want it to be a permanent situation or where even I want it to be at. But I definitely am going to do more like, boom, we're setting up here. Boom, we're setting up here. Right. And we're setting up shop for a couple months. That kind of situation. So.
Oh, that's great. And what is the best way for people to support you right now?
The best way for people to support, obviously, they know where I reside at. I told you, get on my block, Instagram, we got HGC Apparel, follow us there. And then we have Facebook, same thing, HGC Apparel, Pinterest, TikTok, Twitter, all those good things. Right? And that's another thing, y'all. Make sure y'all go get your brand names. Make sure your brand is consistent about everywhere. I can say all the logos, HGC Apparel. Like that's all I gotta do. So making sure you always have that brand recognition on all your platforms. So find the same name everywhere. If you see the van outside, make sure you honk, give your girl a wave, because I'm out here trying to get it for the people and on the lowest level. And I just follow me, holler at me in every way. We're very welcoming to the people and just here for us. So I appreciate you having me.
That's no, of course. And lastly, before we go, let's take a look at some of the stuff you got behind you there.
Oh yes, these are just I was like, oh, what behind me? Like, I didn't even see these things there. Like, like I just some more like one-of-one things that I said very creative for the people, like very much vintage, like Cosby sweaters.
I was gonna say
that I want to start tagging and bagging. So these things are gonna come. I'm gonna have these big kind of like Ivy part. I don't want Beyonce not gonna be the only one doing unboxing, okay? So I'm gonna have some nice large boxes that I'm gonna start putting these one-of-one items in that are gonna have roses all over, like that rose cardigan I had. So I'm gonna start basically handing Black people their flowers. So this one, even this is not necessarily one-of-one, but even designs, I have so many things that I did. This was made about 3 years ago, and I know you saw rugbies are kind of coming back out. I'm like, oh, let me get my rugbies out the closet for y'all.
That takes
I already did those designs. That's why I'm like, people, y'all need to catch up. These are years old.
Right.
Like, years old. I do this because it's like collegiate wear. So I'd have maybe 6 more rugbies in there that I'm gonna start even for now. Maybe do some little tweaks to make it a little crop action. But I already have this stuff. But this little very vintage, like I know you can see how many little steppers in there. It's just very.
What is that? Velvet? What is that? Silk?
Right? What is that? What's a suede? We don't even know. It's just. But just something like you can just see this draped on someone's shoulders, little happy hour. Just I want to do very much vintage items, like a Claire Huxtable, like just giving you that whole nostalgia all the time, and just very much selecting these pieces, giving it to you, making sure they're nice, clean, pressed. Reworking these pieces and giving them out as a collection. So we're not necessarily. I see like the ecosystem, like that. Just wasteful kind of stuff. I love just going back, very much consignment, vintage, and I feel like it goes with the '90s aesthetic of everything anyway. So. I go out, I find pieces for our people, do that as well, and make my own items as well. You see, like I made this, like got these, like it don't even look any different. Like it's just, and this is what very much how you need to intertwine your brand within your culture and in your nostalgia. Which if you are it, I live it, I breathe it. I am this '90s culture in a vibe.
Clearly. Clearly. No, Marcia, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for sharing. Wish you all the best with the upcoming partnership that you got going on. That sounds exciting. So again, everyone go check out, what's the website? What's the URL need to go to?
www.hgcapparel.com, y'all.
Thanks so much again, and you have a great rest of the day.
Thank you so much. I'll take care. Black love always.
Man, peace.